code cracking, and problem solving. More than simply melding information together in creative ways, REM sleep dreaming can take things a step further. REM sleep is capable of creating abstract, off-waking knowledge and superordinate concepts out of sets of information. Think of an experienced physician who is able to seemingly intuit a diagnosis for the many tens of varied, subtle symptoms she observes in a patient. While this kind of abstractive skill can come after years of hard earned experience, it is also the very same accurate gist extraction that we have observed REM sleep accomplishing within just one night. A delightful example is observed in infants abstracting complex grammatical rules in a language that they must learn. Even 18-month-old babies have been shown to deduce high-level grammatical structure from novel languages they hear, but only after they have slept following the initial exposure. As you will recall, REM sleep is especially dominant during this early life window, and there is that REM sleep that plays a critical role in the development of language, we believe. But that benefit extends beyond infancy. Very similar results have been reported in adults who are required to learn new languages and grammar structures. Perhaps the most striking proof of sleep is inspired insight, and one I most frequently describe when giving talks to startup, tech, or innovative business companies to help them prioritize employee sleep, comes from a study conducted by Dr. Ulrich Wagner at the University of Lübeck, Germany. Trust me when I say I'd really rather not be a participant in these experiments. Not because you have to suffer extreme sleep deprivation for days, but because you have to work through hundreds of miserably laborious number string problems, almost like having to do long division for an hour or more. Actually, laborious is far too generous a description. It's possible some people have lost the will to live while trying to sit and solve hundreds of these number problems. I know, I've taken the test myself. You will be told that you can work through these problems using specific rules that are provided at the start of the experiment. Sneakingly, what the researchers do not tell you about is the existence of a hidden rule or shortcut common across all the problems. If you figure out this embedded cheat, you can solve many more problems in a far shorter time. I'll return to this shortcut in just a minute. After having had participants perform hundreds of these problems, they were to return 12 hours later and once again work through hundreds more of these mind-numbing problems. However, at the end of the second test session, the researchers asked whether the subjects had caught on to the hidden rule. Some of the participants spent that 12-hour time delay awake across the day, while for others, that time window included a full 8-hour night of sleep. After time spent awake across the day, despite a chance to consciously deliberate on the problem as much as they desired, a rather paltry 20% of participants were able to extract the embedded shortcut. Things were very different for those participants who had obtained a full night of sleep. One dressed with late morning, REM-rich slumber, almost 60% return, and half the aha moments of spotting the hidden cheat, which is a threefold difference in creative solution insight afforded by sleep. Little wonder, then, that you have never been told to stay awake on a problem. Instead, you are instructed to sleep on it. Interestingly, this phrase, or something close to it, exists in most languages, from the French dormir sur un problème to the Swahili kulala juu ya tatizo, indicating that the problem-solving benefit of dream sleep is universal, common across the globe. Function follows form, dream content matters. The author John Steinbeck wrote, "A problem difficult at night is resolved in the morning after the committee of sleep has worked on it." Should he have prefaced committee with the word dream? It appears so. The content of one's dreams, more than simply dreaming pairs or even sleeping, determines problem solving success. Though such a claim has long been made, it took the advent of virtual reality for us to prove as much and in the process shore up the claims of Mendeleev, Loewy, and many other nocturnal troubleshooters. Enter my collaborator Robert Sickold, who designed a clever experiment in which participants explored a computerized virtual reality maze. During an initial learning session, he would start participants off from different random locations within the virtual maze and ask them to navigate their way out through exploratory trial and error. To aid their learning, Siggold placed unique objects such as a Christmas tree to act as orientation or anchor points at specific locations within the virtual maze. Almost 100 research participants explored the maze during the first learning session. Thereafter, half of them took a 90-minute nap, while the other half remained awake and watched the video, all monitored with electrodes placed on the head and face. Throughout the 90-minute epoch, Gold would occasionally wake the napping individuals, ask them about the content of any dreams they were having, or for the group that remained awake, ask them to report any particular thoughts that were going through their minds at the time. Following the 90-minute period, and after another hour or so to overcome sleep inertia, in those who napped, everyone was dropped back into the virtual maze and tested once more to see if their performance was any better than during initial learning. It should come as no surprise, but now that those participants who took a nap showed superior memory performance on the maze task. They could locate the navigation clues with ease, finding their way around and out of the maze faster than those who had not slept. The novel result, however, was the difference that dreaming made. Participants who slept and reported dreaming of elements of the maze and themes around experiences clearly related to it showed almost 10 times more improvements in their task performance upon awakening than those who slept just as much and also dreamed but did not dream of maze related experiences. As in his earlier studies, Sigold found that the dreams of these supernavigators were not a precise reply of the initial learning experience while awake. For example, one participant's dream report stated, "I was thinking about the maze and kinda having people as checkpoints. I guess," and then that led me to think about when I went on this trip a few years ago and we went to see these bat caves, and they're kind of like maze-like. There were no bats in Sigold's virtual maze, nor were there any other people or checkpoints. Clearly, the dreaming brain was not simply recapitulating or recreating exactly what happened to them in the maze. Rather, the dream algorithm was cherry-picking salient fragments of the prior learning experience and then attempting to place those new experiences within the back catalog of pre-existing knowledge. Like an insightful interviewer, dreaming takes the approach of interrogating our recent autobiographical experience and skillfully positioning it within the context of past experiences and accomplishments, building a rich tapestry of meaning. How can I understand and connect that which I have recently learned with that I already know, and in doing so, discover insightful new links and revelations? Moreover, what have I done in the past that might be useful in potentially solving this newly experienced problem in the future? Different from solidifying memories, which we now realize to be the job of any REM sleep, and the act of dreaming takes that which we have learned in one experience setting and seeks to apply it to others stored in memory. When I have discussed these specific discoveries in public lectures, some individuals will question their validity on the grounds of historical legends who were acclaimed sleepers, yet still demonstrated remarkable creative prowess. When I have discussed these scientific discoveries in public lectures, some individuals will question their validity on the grounds of historical legends who were claimed short sleepers, yet still demonstrated remarkable creative prowess. One common name that I frequently encounter in such rebuttals is the inventor Thomas Edison. We will never truly know if Edison was the short sleeper that some, including myself, claim. What we do know, however, is that Edison was a habitual daytime napper. He understood the creative brilliance of dreaming and used it ruthlessly as a tool, describing it as the genius gap. Edison would allegedly position a chair with armrests at the side of his study desk, on top of which he would place a pad of paper and a pen. Then he would take a metal saucepan and turn it upside down, carefully positioning it on the floor directly below the right side armrest of the chair. If that were not strange enough, he would pick up 2 or 3 steel ball bearings in his right hand. Finally, Edison would settle himself down into the chair, right hand supported by the armrests, grasping the ball bearings. Only then would Edison ease back and allow sleep to consume him whole. At the moment he began to dream, his muscle tone would relax and he would release the ball bearings, which would crash on the metal saucepan below, waking him up. He would then write down all the creative ideas that were floating in his dreaming mind. Genius, wouldn't you agree? Controlling your dreams lucidity. No chapter on dreaming can go unfinished without mention of lucidity. Lucid dreaming occurs at the moment when an individual becomes aware that he or she is dreaming. However, the term is more colloquially used to describe gaining volitional control of what an individual is dreaming and the ability to manipulate that experience, such as deciding to fly, or perhaps even the functions of it, such as problem solving. The concept of lucid dreaming was once considered a sham. Scientists debated its very existence. You can understand the skepticism. First, the assertion of conscious control over a normally non volitional process injects a heavy dose of ludicrous into the already preposterous experience we call dreaming. Second, how can you objectively prove a subjective claim, especially when the individual is fast asleep during the act? 4 years ago, an ingenious experiment removed all such doubts. Scientists placed lucid dreamers inside an MRI scanner. While awake, these participants first clenched their left and then right hand over and over. Researchers took snapshots of brain activity, allowing them to define the precise brain areas controlling each hand of each individual. The participants were allowed to fall asleep in the MRI scanner, entering REM sleep, where they could dream. During REM sleep, however, all voluntary muscles are paralyzed, preventing the dreamer from acting out ongoing mental experience. Yet the muscles that control the eyes are spared from this paralysis and give this stage of sleep its frenetic name. Lucid dreamers were able to take advantage of this ocular freedom, communicating with researchers through eye movements. Predefined eye movements would therefore inform the researchers of the nature of the lucid dream. For example, the participant made 3 deliberate leftward eye movements when they gained lucid dream control, 2 rightward eye movements before clenching their right hand, etc. Non-lucid dreamers find it difficult to believe that such deliberate eye movements are possible while someone is asleep, but watch a lucid dreamer do it a number of times and it is impossible to deny. When participants signaled the beginning of the lucid dream state, the scientists began taking MRI pictures of brain activity. Soon after, the sleeping participants signaled their intent to dream about moving their left hand, then their right hand, alternating over and over again, just as they did when awake. Their hands were not physically moving, they could not due to the REM sleep paralysis, but they were moving in the dream. At least there was a subjective claim from the participants upon awakening. The results of the MRI scans objectively proved they were not lying. The same regions of the brain that were active during physical right and left voluntary hand movements observed while the individuals were awake similarly lit up in corresponding ways during times when the lucid participants signaled that they were clenching their hands while dreaming. There could be no question scientists had gained objective brain-based proof that lucid dreamers can control when and what they dream while they are dreaming. Other studies using similar eye movement communication designs have further shown that individuals can deliberately bring themselves to timed orgasm during lucid dreaming, an outcome that, especially in males, can be objectively verified using psychological measures by brave scientists. It remains unclear whether lucid dreaming is beneficial or detrimental since, well, over 80% of the general populace are not natural lucid dreamers. If gaining voluntary dream control were so useful, surely Mother Nature would have imbued the masses with such a skill. However, this argument makes the erroneous assumption that we have stopped evolving. It is possible that lucid dreamers represent the next interaction in Homo sapiens evolution. Will these individuals be preferentially selected for in the future in part of the basis of this unusual dreaming ability, one that may allow them to turn the creative problem-solving spotlight of dreaming on the waking challenges faced by themselves or the human race and advantageously harness its power more deliberately. Will these individuals be prefer will these individuals be preferentially selected for in the future in part of the basis of this unusual dreaming ability, one that may allow them to turn the creative problem-solving spotlight of dreaming on the waking challenges faced by themselves or the human race, and advantageously harness its power more deliberately.